Hello everyone, Dr. Eames here. This time I'd like to talk about the other half of classical management perspective, administrative management. Now, whereas scientific management was about efficiency of the individual worker and their performance, administrative management is also about efficiency, but of the organization itself and overall performance and how do we increase it and so forth. The main theorist I'd like to talk about this time is Henri Fayol. Now, Henri Fayol is a real giant, just like Frederick Taylor is, so he should be one of those names of all the many that of the theorists we talk about that you should be able to recall and associate with some contributions. He was born about 1840 in France, lived there his whole life as far as I understand, and lived about the mid-1920s. The main book he wrote was General and Industrial Management, but that wasn't the only treatise from him. And the one thing about Henri Fayol is all his writings and his thinkings have been distilled by many theorists and academics and scholars over time, and we still use his main foundations of what managers do and the skills that are needed and so forth today in a more refined way that fits the changing times, of course. So he is incredibly influential. So think about it this way. We're still talking about efficiency, and there isn't any disconnect really between the administrative side and the scientific side. It's about efficiency, and so the ideas of each of the two branches of the classical management perspective really are in complete agreement with each other. The big contribution we got from Henri Fayol was that he was the first theorist that we know about to identify the managerial functions that have evolved into the four management roles recognized today. And indeed, those four management roles are what this course is all about, and we'll spend a couple of chapters actually talking about each of the functions. So we have organizing, controlling, planning and making decisions, and leading. And basically, he gave us a somewhat bigger list back at the time he lived, and also he contributed a nice long list of particular skills. Now, skills are not personality traits. These are things that you can learn, technical details of things and how they work, that sort of thing when it comes to skills. His main thrust always, besides really giving us a foundation of what do managers really do, this really made scientific, classical management perspective much stronger overall when you think about it. It laid out in very clear principle, this is what managers do, this is what makes them professional, they do these things, and they need this sort of mindset and skills to perform their role. So he did try to systematize the practice of management, and he did want to make a very clear distinction between technical work, which in those days, if you said technical work, it meant you were a laborer. The technical work was actually the physical making of something. That's a clear difference between what he saw as managerial work, which is really supervision, administering, keeping control of things. So that's what we have in the main to thank Henri Fayol for. What's ironic about the whole thing is that he wrote these treatises, and it wasn't even until 1930, 5 years after his death, that his influential ideas were published into English. And so since that time, there's been an ongoing evolution and really examination of the things he wrote, and they still resonate today because here we are in this class talking about the contributions to administrative management from Henri Fayol. Well, that's it for this time. I'll talk to you again soon.